defendants can, in any dispute relating to the concession agreement, take action to resolve disputes without resorting to Article 22 of the said agreement for dispute resolution mechanism. It is obvious, in the light of the said agreement, that the defendant cannot so act. It is in this respect that I, that's the judge, Judge Adda saying this, believe the relief to grant the plaintiff in the instant case is not relief 1 but relief 2, and he explains what relief 2 is. He says, I accordingly grant to the plaintiff relief 2 as prayed, which is, it is ordered also in consequence of this that the parties should refer their disputes for amicable settlement as prescribed by the agreement, which is the RCRC.
You see, these are all part of the problems we are talking about that is bedeviling the development of aviation. I mean, people in other climes, if they rise to the level of senior advocate of Nigeria or such, they use it to promote and grow their economy and society. Here we have people manipulating the process to their advantage.
No,
you can no. When was this done? That was when they were using cooking, all these cooking papers up. Every time you call it, they bring one old judgment of 3 to 4 years ago that has been overtaken by events. What I'm telling you is that as the truthful owners of the land in question, which belongs to every Nigerian, which FAAN is holding in trust, has been terminated. So they have the responsibility to go and appeal.
The question is,
yes,
how was it terminated?
It was terminated because they broke one of the tenets of the agreement, which is here. Let me read Article 6. It says the construction period of the hotel shall be 18 months, commencing from 27th day of September 2005. Now we are almost 10 years into a project.
What was the process for terminating the agreement? One can say that, you know, you haven't delivered as you should deliver, but the process to, you know, get in there also is very important, because if you breach the process, chances are that 2 wrongs would have been committed and you most likely would have to go to court. So the question is, how was the agreement terminated?
It was terminated because they failed to meet up with their own responsibilities.
Not
and
why.
In the process, as a part of those who we entered an agreement with them. And so when they deferred, we exercised our rights of terminating the agreement.
How?
All right? Yes, of terminating the agreement because it was a willing agreement.
How was it terminated?
We wrote them a letter terminating the agreement.
Okay, sorry.
You wrote them a letter which was sufficient?
Yes.
They agreed it was sufficient. Did they go to court?
I am not aware they went to court. Somehow things have changed. Things are not the way they used to be.
Judgments I just read to you.
Which year is that?
You just said now that you're aware.
Chamberlain, I'm saying you and I know what has been happening in this country.
I'm not saying.
And we know that there are changes that are taking place. And if we don't sit and insist on these changes, we'll continue to cry about lack of development.
Are you denying knowledge of this judgment again? Just quickly, let's go over it. Are you denying it? Because he asked you very clearly, and you said you're aware of it. He read you a portion. And he's asking you again, what about this particular judgment? You say that, well, it doesn't seem to matter.
No, I'm aware of this judgment. We have appealed the judgment.
Did you?
But our lawyers have advised us that we still have the right to terminate based on the agreement there. And then we cannot take that issue to arbitration. You have to understand their strategies. We'll end up talking 30 minutes without talking about development of aviation, which is very critical.
Let us decide
in this place. It's not about legality.
Well,
it's about what is this is something that belongs to Nigeria.
The rule of law.
That's right.
Not the rule of force, Mr.
No,
Darcy.
not the rule of force. And that is why if you are collecting money from people to place advertisements and billboards and you are not remitting to FAAN, we cannot sit and watch you.
You said you appealed the judgment.
Yes, we did.
Yet your lawyers advised you that you still have the power to terminate.
Exactly.
Why did you appeal then?
Because at the end of the day, the Constitution of Nigeria stands high above any form of agreement because that is the guiding principle.
That's why
that is law. That is law.
Did you sign the agreement based on the Constitution of Nigeria?
Yes, we did. But what I'm telling you is at the period that agreement was signed, some of them had what you people have popularized as Oga at the tops in government. So the Oga at the tops turned the agreement against the interests of the Nigerian people. What we are saying is if we have to address, we have to look at these issues with fairness.
What was the outcome of the appeal?
This is still pending, but we still have a leeway to terminate it because they have broken a fundamental aspect of that. You cannot own a land in perpetuity. In fact, by the Land Use Act of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, nobody owns a land in perpetuity because that's why there is tenure. So you cannot have an arrangement to build a hotel for 2 years. So and then running up to 10 years now, you have refused to, you are still insisting on holding it.
In your concession agreement, Article 22 talks about setting up a panel to settle disputes. Yeah. Did you set up one?
Well, it's up to them if they disagree. We have terminated. We are not the one to set up a panel.
It says here that if anyone has a problem as regards any part of this agreement, you're supposed to set up a 6-man panel, 3 representing the concessionaire, 3 representing the grantor. Yeah. Did you set up such a panel?
No, you see, let me tell you one of the things that happened and how these people operate, if you will permit me to speak. There was a time they set up a panel to look at this issue from the Office of the Attorney General, where FAAN was not even represented.
Who set up the panel?
Attorney General at that point, Andoka. And he got certain people who are not even representative of FAAN to sit down and agree on behalf of FAAN. In other words, shaving FAAN's head in their absence.
No, just a minute. Is FAAN...
So I'm just telling you
the legality. Is FAAN not an agent of the federal government?
It's an agent of the federal government.
Does the Attorney General of the Federation not representing the federal government?
They are, but there's a difference.
By extension,
there is an act, a law establishing FAAN. That is why FAAN can be sued separately from the federal government.
Okay, maybe I should ask you.
What affects the federal government? Maybe I should ask you this one. Because we have an edict establishing FAAN.
There was also
FAAN is by law is a company and an individual. So
there was another court judgment.
Yes.
Maybe let me ask if you are aware of this one, which was on Wednesday, 13th day of February 2013. But this one was before Honorable Justice Mohammed.
We have like 15 cases in Bi-Courtney in court. No, so it's very difficult to follow because that is their stock in trade.
Hold on. The impression is that FAAN is flagrantly disregarding court orders.
Okay,
that's the impression because we
have more than 100 concessionaires working with FAAN. We only have problems with just about 3 or 4.
Let me even read.
And it's because they have decided to bend the rules to shortchange the Nigerian people.
Now, you say you're aware of this court.
Are you also aware
let me also read this part.
Excuse me. Are you aware that Bi-Courtney,
you were the defendant?
Could
you hold on?
Yes.
But FAAN is the defendant in this, and Bi-Courtney was in court about this matter. The judgment was given. That's Justice Mohammed. He says here, and I read from, I think it's on page 9, yes. It was also, I'm quoting, it was also held by the Court of Appeal that, by implication, the federal government and its agencies have their interest adequately represented by the Attorney General of the Federation being the Chief Law Officer of the Federation. It was further held by the Court of Appeal that as an agency of the federal government, the second plaintiff, which is FAAN, FAAN's interest.
They have more than 15 judgments. These people, all they do is go to court.
Mr. Dati, let me finish so that you can respond.
No, because we are playing to their direction. Because all they want.
Can I read? Can you let me finish reading the court judgment so that you respond?
They have 15 judgments. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Then, if you are talking about,
you can't know because you won't let us finish.
No,
you will only know if you finish, so you know what to respond to.
Instead of talking of aviation development,
because it says here
to transform and change the industry. Why are we being pulled out?
Can you develop the aviation industry outside of the law?
No, but let me give you an example.
But can you do that?
We cannot.
So why would you want to set aside a court judgment because you want to talk about aviation?
But we are saying people who are made in their stock and trade to manipulate the judicial process over the years.
From what you've seen here,
to the detriment of the aviation industry is being addressed now.
Are you now implicating the judiciary that they are allowing themselves to be used by
you and I know that things have not been the same. And we have seen a remarkable difference since Her Lordship, Justice Aluma, mounted the cradle of leadership in judiciary. So and that is why we are celebrating the changes that
the question will be now, so if you have seen the court judgments, which you say that you have and that you're a plethora of them, have you appealed? If you're not in agreement with them, have you appealed them?
We have appealed.
The question is, how many have you appealed? Because he's holding a host of court judgments there.
Yes. He's holding like 3. They have like 15.
Are all of them under appeal? at the Court of Appeal?
They are.
All of them?
All of them.
So you're aware of all of them?
We are aware.
But the question is, because oftentimes people say that while something is an appeal, there's usually a stay of execution, which